It is the Daytona 500 Eve! We hope so, kinda, sorta. Will we see a 500 this Sunday? Ford has a brand new top team in NASCAR. What does it mean for one championship-winning organization currently with Ford? And Jeff Gordon talks about charters and why Hendrick Motorsports hasn't turned a profit in 10 years? Are you kidding me?
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah!
What's the caution for? Me?
Can I not push it in? Stop anybody. Come on, you guys! Way to go, boys! One hell of a job, man, one hell of a job. Thank you so much.
Hello, and welcome on into a Shifting Gears on a hopefully Daytona 500 Eve. I am Alan Bailey. We talk NASCAR 2 days a week, normally coming off of a Sunday race, either Sunday night, Monday morning, and then again normally on Thursdays here on the channel, but it's the Daytona 500 Speed 5 days. I'm not calling it Speed Weeks because it's not weeks. I'm not calling it a week because 5 days is not a week, but because of weather, we might actually get Speed Week because it's raining in Daytona. Go figure. But you know what? It's okay. We're going to get through this together. In the meantime, do me a huge favor. Make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video in 2024. And you can always log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Yeah, it's raining, it's pouring, it's not looking good for the Xfinity race today or the Cup Series race tomorrow. But you know what? Kudos to NASCAR for actually moving the ARCA race to Friday night. I think that was the right decision. And I like the fact that NASCAR is willing to move races up 24 hours in order to accommodate them for weather. And let's be frank, getting the Daytona 500 in is priority number one. The Xfinity race is second. That's just where it is right now. That is what it is. I know a lot of people are like, no, Xfinity's important too. No, the Truck Series. No, it's not. It's the Daytona 500. It's the biggest race of the year. I'm praying that we're able to get it in on Sunday, but it doesn't look so great, so we're going to have to wait and see. But let's talk about what we saw so far leading into Speed 5 days in Daytona this weekend. Firstly, you had Tyler Reddick winning duel number 1, you had Christopher Bell winning duel number 2, Toyota sweeping the duel races, Ford sweeping the front row, ending Chevy's threshold on the front row for the Daytona 500 that dated back almost 10 years. So honestly, Chevy's got to work on this new car. They got to figure something out because a lot of people said, oh, they're going to get caught up with. The Chevy's going to be behind on horsepower. They're going to start to show those cracks this year. And they've already shown them in Daytona week 1 of 2024. So as far as I know, Chevy's not sweating bullets right now, but they're trying to figure out which car they're going to bring to market, hopefully in 2025. But NASCAR hasn't given them a hard, you need to bring a new nose, new body combo to the track. And they may or may not anytime soon. We're just going to have to wait and see. But Jimmy Johnson, Kaz Grala both locking themselves into the Daytona 500, sending BJ McLeod and JJ Yaley in, which spawned some really good responses on social media. This one happened to be my favorite.
What are we doing here? No way. Is he gonna do it? Yes. Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see?
Oh, it was so glorious. That's a veteran move right there. And whoever thought to put that mashup together, brilliant. That was chef's kiss. Brilliant. Kudos to Jimmy Johnson for making the 500. It's honestly would have been the first time ever in his Cup Series career that he didn't make a race. He's never DNQ'd a race in the Cup Series ever, which is seriously impressive considering he is literally the only active Hall of Fame driver currently on the racetrack, and it means a lot for them to make this race. It really does. So kudos to them. I feel bad for BJ. He's a guy who honestly sold his charter, made a boatload of money, and struggled. They were slow. Same with New York racing with JJ Yaley. I mean, they didn't pay Greg Biffle, and they expected him to show up in Daytona and run their car. They put his signature on the car, on the fire suit, and on everything, and Biffle did the right thing and said, you still haven't paid me. Yeah, you better pay me before I do more work for you for free. I don't blame Biff whatsoever. I hope he gets paid. I suspect a lawsuit will be forthcoming, but we'll have to wait and see. And JJ Yaley, very slow in Daytona and almost made it, but just got passed by the 7-time Hall of Fame championship winning driver right there. Go figure! Who would have seen that coming? One of the big stories, and a big congratulations to the entire Buescher family. Chris Buescher's wife gave birth to their second child on Thursday night. He was not at the racetrack Friday, and my understanding is that he will be flying back hopefully tomorrow morning, but just honestly very cool. I bet he's honestly really devastated that he wasn't there for the birth, but you know what? He got to spend some time with his family this weekend, and the birth of your second child is already a win this weekend, and damn, wouldn't it be cool if he won the 500? Yeah, just saying. Something that was reported and made its rounds during the offseason, we reported it here on Shifting Gears a few weeks back, the fact that Front Row Motorsports is now a Tier 1 partner with Ford. Ooh. More specifically, they had a technical alliance with RFK Racing last year. They switched to a technical alliance with Penske in 2024. Honestly, this is massive for Front Row. They honestly last year, in my opinion, proved that they are a top-tier Cup Series team, or at least they have the capability to. We've seen other teams try to break out from that mid-pack and try to be one of the front runners, and we've seen a couple of teams do it throughout the years, but Front Row really proved to me this year the Daytona 500 wasn't a fluke. Indianapolis, the road course last year, really solidified them as a team that can get the job done and dominate when they're given the right equipment and the right opportunities, and they seized those opportunities in 2023. I suspect they're going to do it again. They're on the front row for the Daytona 500. McDowell's never done that before, and that is massive. When they made the championship last year, in the playoffs, I should say last year, they entered into essentially a new tax bracket with postseason payout money, and they've used that money and invested into the organization, and now they're working with Penske, and they're getting a lot more resources from Penske and Ford, and it's showing. They're on the front row for the Daytona 500. I honestly have to amend my preseason predictions for this organization and say Michael McDowell will make the championship playoffs in 2024, mark my words. But what does this mean for Stewart-Haas Racing? Ultimately, they are no longer a Tier 1 organization. Representatives from all the manufacturers were in Daytona this week talking to the media in the media center, and when they were asked specifically about the current relationship with Stewart-Haas Racing, they said no comment. When you say no comment, that means there's some dirty laundry that you really don't want to step in. And I don't blame Ford whatsoever for this one. Clearly, things at Stewart-Haas Racing haven't been great. Tony Stewart has been a little vocal about his displeasure with Ford because they would not allow him to sign Kyle Larson. That didn't turn out so well. And he had to truly fight for Noah Gragson to be in the 10 car this year with Ford. Per their contract with Ford, Stewart-Haas Racing has to have 4 cars in the Cup Series with their 4 charters. They're locked into that. So honestly, I said this during the preseason show from the LA Coliseum. I think Stewart-Haas Racing legitimately will be selling at least 1, if not 2 of their charters by the end of 2024, and their current contract with Ford elapses at the end of 2024. There's no love lost right there. There's none. There's a lot of hostility between Stewart-Haas Racing and Ford right now, and those drivers aren't getting the resources they need. Clearly, Stewart-Haas Racing is struggling. All 4 of the teams qualified outside the top 20. It's going to be a rough year. Will it be rougher than last year? Yes. It will be significantly worse than last year. It's going to be very rough. Maybe we're going to get flashes of brilliance at the plate tracks. This weekend in Daytona and next weekend at Atlanta come to mind, but those are really going to be the only options. This team is not going to pull a rabbit out of its hat. I do not expect a victory. I don't even expect a top 10 out of this organization. Now, does this mean that Stewart-Haas Racing could sign with Chevrolet or with Toyota? They honestly might just stay with Ford for 2025 and just simply not get the factory support that they're not really getting this year. And honestly, there have been rumors for years that they're going to sign with Dodge. Tony Stewart has a relationship with Dodge in the NHRA series, but there's been no rumors, there's been no speculation or no reports or any information out there saying that Dodge is coming to NASCAR in 2025 or anytime in the near future. But there is one more interesting rumor that's been floating around. There has been a report that NASCAR themselves, and NASCAR did confirm this, that they are discussing coming into the Cup Series with Honda. Now, I'll be very blunt here. This rumor has been around for 15 years. For 15 years, Honda has kind of flirted and teased NASCAR fans. Ooh, we're coming to NASCAR. We're going to be in NASCAR sometime soon. Ooh, can't wait. NASCAR. Ooh, we're talking with NASCAR. Even Steve O'Donnell and people within NASCAR have said, yes, we're discussing things with them. We're having open conversations. But let's be honest here. Honda is having intense discussions with IndyCar, and they're not happy with how those things are going. Essentially, Honda's just talking to NASCAR as a side chick in order to get something to happen. And I absolutely hate it because it's teasing NASCAR fans. It's teasing NASCAR. And I don't think Honda has an intention of coming to NASCAR. I think it's all just talk and smoke and mirrors because these discussions have been happening for 15 years. It's put up or shut up at this point, honestly. And I'm just over it. It's like, oh, Honda's possibly coming. Ooh, can't wait. Yay. It's just all talk. I'll tell you one thing that caught my eye that nobody's really talking about. The Dale Jr. download. Amazing, amazing podcast. Honestly, Dale Earnhardt Jr. does a fantastic job. So does everybody over at Dirty Mo Media. Highly recommend that. That's a weekly must listen for you. And he had Jeff Gordon on this week. And it really is a phenomenal 90-minute interview where they talk about essentially everything from Jeff Gordon stepping out of the car to him being invested with everybody over at Hendrick Motorsports to Jimmy Johnson not coming over to Hendrick Motorsports to what the future of Hendrick sees, driver personality. But the thing that caught my eye was the charter discussions. Jeff Gordon very openly talked about him being on the committee that is discussing things with NASCAR and negotiating everything between the teams and with NASCAR. And he was very blunt, open, and honest, and I appreciate that. But the thing that he said most that stuck out to me like a giant red sore thumb was the fact that Hendrick Motorsports hasn't turned a profit in over 10 years.
There's probably 3-4 major key things that the teams have been very consistent on talking to NASCAR about what we think is going to not only help the teams, be profitable. We don't make money, right? I mean, it's one of those. I don't think Hendrick Motorsports has made a profit in 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, why do you do it? Well, it's because Rick Hendrick loves the sport. He loves cars, and it's been good branding.
If Hendrick, the organization that constantly winning championships, and during those 10 years, they've won a couple championships and massive races, tons of races, they're not turning a profit, that's alarming. And honestly, updating the talks about the charter discussion with NASCAR, I simply think that this is an expensive sport, period. It's expensive for the teams, it's expensive for NASCAR, it's expensive to put on these shows, and I simply think that there isn't enough money to go around right now. The pie, how it's being split up, is a very hot button issue, and it's kind of the issue that we're facing in this country altogether. And not to be too political here, but it boils down to inflation has gotten so out of control. Cost in NASCAR and across the planet, across this country, have skyrocketed so much that everybody's just struggling right now, period. That's the end of it. Whether or not we see these talks come to a peaceful conclusion here in the coming weeks or not, I don't know, but it sounds honestly like NASCAR and the teams are not hostile towards each other, which is a great thing. They're just at an impasse. Nobody can really agree on anything, and the TV deal was kind of holding everything up, and they're still talking, but it's not 100% productive. So unfortunately, just a whole lot of waiting and seeing to see what happens, but I highly recommend you go check out the entire 90-minute interview between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon. Fascinating interview. Now it's time for one of my favorite segments. We're renaming it. Instead of mailbag, it's now hot takes, because we're going to get to your hot takes, your comments left in the comments down below on our videos. We will start with this one. Old logo was way better. I loved it so much, I got it tattooed. Nick, I am so sorry. From what I understand, tattoo removal is extraordinarily expensive and painful. I'm kidding, mostly. Listen, we're talking about the old Talladega Superspeedway logo. I never loved it. I really didn't. I never understood why there was two lines in the arrow thing. I never got that at all. It made absolutely no sense to that place. And it was an absolute nightmare for printing it on posters, for putting it on shirts and hats and things like that. NASCAR is trying to simplify things and keep with the times. Most logos are going a lot more simplistic for reprinting, rebranding things, and NASCAR's doing that. They're stepping into 2024, and if that upsets you, I'm terribly sorry. I hated the old logo, though. You cannot convince me otherwise. Good luck with the tattoo removal. Matt D sucks. I can get behind this one. I agree. Listen, I never understood the hype around him. Because he cried at Bristol one time when Denny Hamlin beat his ass, everybody was like, oh, I love Matty D. He just needs a shot. He couldn't get it done in Penske equipment when Penske was dominating. Huh? Like, that's what it boils down to. This guy never got it done. The only victory he has in NASCAR is on a technicality call from NASCAR at Talladega. That just says all you need to know. I mean, Listen, I wish him nothing but the best, but I hate all the hype around him. I really do. I hate that he has literally pissed off almost everybody in the NASCAR garage area, including NASCAR, and continues to play the whole, oh, I'm innocent. I'm a good Christian. Yes, I'm a good guy. I'm just going to continue to be a dick behind camera and off screen to everybody around me, but I'm a good person, right? No. It's not how being a Christian works, and as an actual Christian, it pisses me off. Would this game be on most consoles, like the Switch or others? We're talking about the new NASCAR game coming from Monster Games and iRacing, and unsure at this point, officially. I'm hearing that they are talking with Sony and with Microsoft to put it on the PlayStation and the Xbox. Cannot confirm if it's going to be on the PS5, PS4, or which Xbox it's going to be on, but it will be on at least those two consoles. I'm hoping it will be on the Switch, but we just heard rumors not too long ago that the Switch 2 supposedly is coming out in early 2025. What those specs are, I don't know. But that's a whole nother beast that, honestly, they're going to have to adapt for. But since they put other games out on those consoles down the road, I suspect maybe a few months after they launch the PlayStation and the Xbox version of the game, we should see a Switch version of the game out, hopefully. But again, I don't know. I know that NASCAR heavily wants to be on the Switch. They want to be on as many platforms as they can to get this game out to as many, frankly, children as they can. Yes, I am a gamer. I'm not dissing gamers. But this game is going to be geared more towards a younger audience, and that does not mean that it's going to be PC and very dumbed down. No, far from it. It's just going to be a lot more accessible to little Timmy who doesn't necessarily have a gaming rig set up in their house. It's just going to be for somebody who can pick up the console and go with it, which is what NASCAR needed and what this game needs to be. So we'll have to wait and see. It's still pretty early in development. We're at least a year away from getting more concrete details about this new NASCAR game, but I'm really excited about it. And you can go ahead and leave your hot topics, your comments down below in this video or any of our other videos here on the channel. I want to thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. We are doing a post-race live version of the show after the Daytona 500, whether or not that's Sunday night or Monday or Tuesday, we don't know. We're going to try to do it. But other than that, you will normally see 2 videos a week here on the channel for Shifting Gears, either Sunday night, Monday morning, a post-race show, and then on Thursdays primarily. So 2 videos a week is what the new schedule will be moving forward. I know there's been a lot of confusion during the preseason, but this is locked in. This is official. Very excited for what's happening in 2024. And make sure that you go check out our Team Chaos YouTube channel because we're running the Daytona 500 this weekend. We got a couple more that we're doing. We're doing one actually right now, Saturday morning here, and we're doing one potentially Sunday morning or Sunday night. So pretty excited about it, man. I want to win a 500 for Team Chaos and Overton Speed Shop, man. That's a bucket list thing for me. So come on, see if we could do it. And until then, for Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.